Woodrow Wilson is somebody that should be taught in every school. How many of us thought Woodrow Wilson was an evil guy? Okay, who even knew? You did one. Who even knew Woodrow Wilson? And I started reading and I'm like, I don't know, whatever. The most evil, do you know that Woodrow Wilson, don't get me started on a Woodrow Wilson rap. Woodrow Wilson, the last year and a half in office, his wife ran the administration. He didn't let anybody in. She didn't let anybody in to see him. She would take his hand and sign the bills this way. I mean, evil, evil dude. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Next up is Mandy.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi.
What do you feel is the most misunderstood thing about you?
About me?
Yes.
You know, a reporter asked that question to me today, that I am political. I don't like politics. I don't really care about the parties. I have no interest, never have had any interest, politically speaking. I only care because of September 11th. And then it never came back. I expected that it would be weird for a while, and then it would come back, and it never did. And as it got weirder and weirder, I started looking into it more and more, and I find myself in a place that I think any one of us, if you were in my position, you'd be doing exactly the same thing. I just find myself in this situation, and I have no choice. I don't want to do it. I can't wait until it becomes normal. I hope to God it becomes normal again. And, you know, I can go and we can go do entertaining shows and have fun and, you know, do things that are less stressful than all of this. All right, we have time for one more question. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, I know the name of the show is Ask Glenn Anything, but I actually want to spend a couple of minutes here just asking you a question. I live in New York, which is like, do you remember in Get Smart, the cone of silence, where it would come down? Okay, it's kind of like the cone of silence, and when it comes down, you can't hear anything that makes sense. And I get lost from being in this bubble, and this media bubble and everything else. And I'm not sure what it is that if you watch the show every night, what it is you wish we would do more of. What is it that we're missing? What is it where are we missing it? Anybody? Does everybody watch the show? Okay, you have one here up front.
Yeah, actually, I only watch the show occasionally. Maybe you do cover this and I just missed it, but you know, I guess I have a bunch of conservative and a bunch of liberal friends, and when my liberal friends just start saying things or show sort of a lack of awareness, I'm just sort of wondering how you talk to these people just to begin to convince them or plant the seeds of doubt in their mind that they might be wrong, and I just don't know kind of where to start.
Okay.
Usually it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't work. I think that one is going to solve itself here soon, and it's really interesting how polarized we have become, and I admit I'm part of that in many ways. We all are, because as we were going, I don't think we realized how far apart we were from some of these uber left people. You know, I think we all thought, especially after September 11th, we're all basically the same, and there weren't people that were really trying to plot our demise. I think the answer is, again, faith, hope, and charity. Hope, when we just will be honest with each other. You know, the thing that changed my life was Thomas Jefferson. And question with boldness even the very existence of God, for if there be a God, he must surely rather honest questioning over blindfolded fear. If we can just get people to be honest and say, look, I was questioning George W. Bush. The thing on the border didn't make any sense. You're going to keep us secure, but you leave the border open? That doesn't make sense. Something was wrong. And I was questioning back then. Well, if you thought the government was growing too fast, too big, and we were spending too much money back then, how does this make sense? It doesn't. Please join us on common ground. We can disagree on health care, you know, and welfare and all that. We can disagree, but we must purge the system of dishonesty. We have to at least be honest with ourselves, and that's where it begins. Anybody else? What? Yes.
How do we deal with the people who just are completely blind? I'm talking about the people in Congress and the Senate. They're so out of it. How can these people not get it? It's almost like we should be interviewing them in front of a camera and asking them basic principles of our Constitution and have them in front of the entire world, see how stupid they are.
This is a good question. How many of you, because I think you can get politicians on every show, and we don't do politicians and we don't do guests, because usually it takes a lot to get something out of a guest, etc., etc. I value your time, so I don't want to do that. And politicians usually don't have anything new to. I can tell you exactly what they're going to say. So should we do more guests? Should we do more politicians? Yes or no? Yes, we should do more guests than politicians. Wow. Okay.
But spontaneous. Put a camera in their face in Congress saying, "This is what you voted on."
But you have that. You have that. Have you seen the website where you have people saying they have asked all the members of Congress that they can get a camera in front of and say, "Where do you find this in the Constitution?" They all answer the same way. I don't know. We have people to look into that. I don't know. And they can sleep at night. Yes.
When I ask people why they don't watch you, especially my sister who's a Democrat, the answer is it's very negative. It's too negative. This situation is negative.
Yeah.
That said, I think that with the cohesiveness of the Tea Party groups and everyone coming together, the people who want to go back to the original values, the faith, hope, and charity, people are really starting to feel bonded together now. And the group is growing huge. There's actually a virtual march for April 15th for those who can't attend online that you can sign up for, and 190,000 people have already signed up for it.
Yeah, I tell you, there's a lot of positive going on, and I don't know if you guys have noticed the change in our show in the last year, but last year was trying to figure it out. This year is now, what do we do? And I would like to ask you as an audience, and I mean this sincerely, it's very easy to get distracted and pulled off of things. It's very easy, especially when they're attacking you, because you immediately say, no, I've got to correct that. I don't care anymore. So I need your help to make sure that we stay on track, because this is the answer. It is the answer. And I ask you to help me by communicating with the show, being involved in the show, but also, even if you don't take these things and share them and say, hey, you got to watch this DVR, you have to watch this DVD of Glenn or whatever. Just make them your own. If there's somebody that won't listen because of who I am, just bring these ideas to them, because we've got to unite with each other. And it is negative, but believe me, it's going to be much, much more negative if we don't act now. We'll be back in just a second. We just have to invite more audience members to come to New York and just have dinner with us one night. We don't have to have you on camera. I've learned a lot from you, and I thank you very much. I want to thank Steven Crowder for helping us out tonight from New York. Good night, America.